Let's see. So it's 5:30. Should we begin the meeting?
We have a quorum.
Who's on iPhone?
It's Jenny Leonor, ninth grader's mom for Jackson
welcome.
Bañuelos. Thank you.
Let's see. Josh, could you share the agenda so I can see? I can't seem to get
Yeah,
that
you got
page
it.
up.
Let me pull it up right now. Do you want me to put it in the Zoom chat? Is that the easiest?
Okay.
You can also re-forward the email. I'll do that too.
Yeah, too frustrating.
Oops.
Okay, so I'll just try to wing it here. So welcome everybody to the August board meeting. For the record, I'd like to recognize that we have Gershon Toris with us from the board. And Javier, I'm blanking on your last name.
Gonzalez.
Javier Gonzalez. And Larry Valabi and Mary Navas from the board. So I believe that gives us a quorum and we can continue. And okay, maybe hold on 1 second. Oh, there we go.
So you want to record any guests in attendance?
That would be a good idea. I'd like to recognize that we have a parent joining us through her iPhone, and I don't recall her name at this point.
All right.
Person on the iPhone, can you restate your name, please?
It's Jenny Leonor, and my daughter's in ninth grade.
Jenny Leonor. I'll try to do a better job of remembering that. Well, thank you for being with us. And I think that we want to also recognize we have Daniel Ornelas from the staff with us, and Josh Rip, the head of school, and Rachel Pedley. Are you on the staff? Rachel Pedley is also with us. I think that takes care of everybody. So, Josh, you have an item on here about approving board member terms?
Yeah, I'd like to redact that at this time. That was for the retreat, and I want to move that to the retreat.
Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda as it stands?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 And that is anybody opposed? So that was the unanimous vote of the board members who are present. Guidelines for public comment. This is an opportunity for Ms. Leonor or Rachel or any other board member to bring up or any other non-board member to bring up a subject that they would like to bring before the board that's not currently on the agenda. Rachel, do you have anything? Okay. Ms. Leonor, do you want to, is there any thing that you want to talk about that's not on tonight's agenda?
I'm just reviewing it right now, but I don't think so. But now I'm okay.
Okay, great. Then we will move ahead to reports and starting off with the operations report.
Great. Let me share my screen real quick.
This summer we got a little bit longer of a summer thanks to moving our calendar back a little bit. It gave us an opportunity to get some things done in the facility. So,
Daniel, it's a little hard to hear you.
oh, okay, I'll be a little bit louder. I'm trying. We're all in one room. I'm trying to share a microphone with Josh and Rachel. So this summer is a little bit longer of a summer. We're able to squeeze in some facility projects because of the later start to the school year. So we got some building maintenance done. We got a deep clean, carpets, floors, classrooms. We got some HVAC maintenance done, roof cleaning. We did a pretty good reset to the facility. Just some touch-up paint. Really got our bathrooms set for next year, and we had a plumbing project to get some smaller water heaters installed into restrooms. So that all took place as well. We made progress on our electrical and HVAC upgrade. So basically what we needed to do there was physically expand our electrical closet so that in the future we can install a new electrical panel so that we can add the capacity to have HVAC air conditioning units for all of our classrooms on the first floor. So while they were expanding that closet, we had electric and HVAC contractors coming in to put all the wiring and sheet metal in place from our classrooms up to the roof. That way, once the HVAC units are available, once the electrical panel is installed, and once PG&E gives us a green light, we'll be able to turn those HVAC or those air conditioning units on, estimating December to January, only because we're waiting for that electrical panel to be physically on site, and we'll need a couple of days for PG&E to be able to patch things up for us to be able to use it. So we won't have the ability to do that until I think our winter break at this moment. That's as far as we know. So first two steps right here on this little timeline, the electrical closet expansion is complete. They did a little bit of work in the classrooms up to the roof. And then in October, we anticipate the HVAC units being installed on the roof. And once that panel comes in, we're hoping for the winter break to get everything finished up. Here's our electrical closet as it stands. I wish I had a before picture, but basically in this little red box, that's all a new section in our electrical closet right there behind our cafeteria area. So they worked hard to get that all set up and ready so that we can have our cafeteria back for the start of school. On top of that, we got some work done on the exterior of our facility, some work that will help us with some of the requirements that the city would like for us to do for that permit. They poured a new sidewalk and curb for our students, as well as this crosswalk area right here in front of our patio. So they poured and did all this in a matter of a week and a half. They put the asphalt down, and then they also did some striping of our driveway to kind of also help us with our traffic flow. But I think Josh will get into that a little bit in his update. Some upcoming projects is the completion of that HVAC and electrical upgrade, getting a trash enclosure installed, a roof for our trash enclosure installed. We want to do an exterior lighting upgrade and a net installation on the side of the facility. And on top of that, as we moved into our school year, we had an update in that for our meal program, meals will continue to be free for all students. This year, SABA qualified for the community eligibility for lunch program, which is actually really great. It meant that we didn't have to collect meal applications to continue to qualify to be reimbursed at the free level for many of our students. But we still did push having income verification through what our meal application would be so that we can still get eligibility for a lot of extra funding. And this year we will be offering breakfast every day to our students before school. And that's my update.
Hey, Daniel, I
Thank
have
you very much. Any questions for Daniel?
I have a quick question. Does SEBA have like a deferred maintenance plan, 5-year plan? Is that why you're giving us this update, or is this the stuff that comes up that you, the school does? Just out of curiosity.
No, we don't have a deferred maintenance plan. This in particular, this curb was one of the items for what is
Condition
it?
of approval.
Condition of approval for us to get that permit with the city.
Okay. Thank you.
And I noticed in the chat that Mary has to leave at 6. It's 5:42. So I would like to make a motion that we hold the head of school report until after the number 5, the consent agenda, number 6, the action items. And so I so move. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 That was a unanimous vote. So consent agenda. Any comments or anything anybody wants pulled off the consent agenda for discussion? Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I will move approval, but I can't approve the minutes because I don't think I was on the minutes. I wasn't at the June 13th meeting, so I can't approve the minutes there. But I can move approval of all the other ones and then somebody else, or I can move approval, but I'll vote. I won't vote for the minutes. I don't know how that works.
Wait, can we
Let's
just,
have somebody who was there make the motion then.
So moved.
Thank you. Oh, and I made the motion. That was Larry seconding. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I abstain, and I abstain from the minutes.
There we go.
I think that was that for the motion to proceed with the agenda?
no, this was the consent agenda. So the consent agenda is approved.
And now we're moving on to number 6, action items, because Mary has to leave at 6.
Okay.
You got it.
So Josh, 6A.
6A, academic calendar. We had a typo in our previously approved academic calendar. What happened was the 1st of June, if you look at it on, we had that starting on a Wednesday instead of a Thursday. And so because of that, we had to adjust our academic calendar. School now goes through that Friday. Work calendars did not change. And so we're asking for approval for this updated draft calendar.
You would like to make, or any questions for Josh about this issue? A motion to approve.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
thank you, Larry. And all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, that was a unanimous vote. On to 6B.
So we have an obligation with the city of Watsonville to reduce traffic around our building, and we need to look for different ways to do that. One way in which we're going to try and achieve that goal of reducing traffic is to offer a traffic and parking reduction stipend. And so what this stipend involves is that each day that a SEBA employee walks, bicycles, or carpools to work, thus reducing one vehicle on the road, as well as one vehicle in our parking lot, SEBA will provide a $150 stipend for every 20 days that occurs. And so what we tried to do was incentivize this in a way, so even if you did it 20 times over the course of the school year, at least you're getting a few less cars on the road and a few less cars in the parking lot. This is to comply in part with City of Watsonville conditions of approval for our rezoning. It's also, it's going to increase safety as well as ensure that everybody has adequate parking at our school.
How are you gonna track this, Josh?
So if you look at the board agenda doc, staff will complete the table that's listed there. So they put in the date. So for example, if they walked to and from school today, they would write in 8/9/22 mode of transportation walk, and then they would initial. And then once they complete all 20, they're gonna sign this, submit it to our human resources director, and then we will approve that. And once it's approved, they will get the $150 as a stipend in the next pay period.
Okay.
How is this equitable for someone who lives down the block from Saba and someone who lives in Santa Cruz?
If the person down the block from Saba is walking every day, they will have equal access to this, just as somebody who was able to get here through carpooling from Santa Cruz.
So do you have employees now that do that automatically? And is there some type of a discrepancy? Again, I think back to Mike's comment.
I'm not sure I follow.
So do you have current employees that already walk to work or bicycle to work, and this would just be automatic, and then it's every 20 days they get 100, so it's 150, and let's just say 180 days. I'm trying to do the math. So it's an automatic. Does that make sense? I don't.
Sure. Like if you got 10 months of this, it'd be 1,050. So
Okay.
There are staff members who live within walking or cycling distance, and in previous years, sometimes they walk, sometimes they don't. But the whole idea here is it would be unfair to them if they were not receiving the stipend, because again, the aim isn't to pay everyone equally. The aim is to reduce traffic and parking.
Mhm.
And so you could even say, oh, well, somebody who lives in Santa Cruz next to somebody else who lives in Santa Cruz has an advantage over somebody who lives near Saba, but has nobody near them, so they can't carpool. So.
Would this go also for someone, say, who lives in Santa Cruz and drives their car down, parks in the parking garage down the street, and then walks the last 2 blocks to school?
Exactly what I was gonna ask.
Yeah, so again, we are going for reduction of traffic on Locust Street. So
Okay. That's
Not
the
when-
parameters.
police the, surrounding square mile or 2 miles. So they theoretically could do that, yes.
Got it. All right. Any other questions for Josh? Or let's hear, Rachel, is this a program that you're looking forward to taking advantage of?
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people who live a little further away, but there is someone who also lives over in Scotts Valley, so potentially, but yeah, it's hard to navigate sharing rides with different hours.
Right.
What we are noticing already though, and I'll talk about this in my head of school report, we want to reduce traffic on the road, and there are open parking spots all over our parking lot already from people choosing to pursue this stipend.
Great.
Cool.
Okay, if there are no other questions, can I have a motion to approve this stipend program?
So moved.
I'll second, and I think it's a really clever way of looking at this problem.
Mhm.
And I think it'll be a good thing to lay out in front of the city council as something very concrete that we're doing, spending money on. So I think it's smart for a number of different reasons. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? So that was a unanimous vote, all members voting in favor of the stipend. And going on to 6C.
So this is the 22-23 student handbook. And there are 5 updates. The first one is we are participating in the National School Lunch Program again this year, but we're going to offer breakfast 5 days a week from 8 to 8:25. The handbook's also been updated to reflect free meals for all students regardless of income status, and that's continuing this year. 5-star was added. The 5-star is an incentive system where students receive points when they behave well, and they can use those points to purchase items at our student store. Fast 40 time was changed to adjust to our new bell schedule. So now Fast 40 is from 3:20 to 4 instead of till 4:30, which it was last year. Sports and events eligibility policy has been updated. We'll check for grades at the midpoint of each quarter and at the end of each quarter. And then reflections, minor incidents, office referrals, and suspensions are part of eligibility. We really want to incentivize this positively. And so if students are following through with their consequences, reflecting, restoring whatever happened, then they can continue to be eligible. So that eligibility policy has been updated. And then finally, we've been emphasizing uniform this year, and college church days are now going to be on Wednesdays. And we read that with both staff and families prior to the start of the school year.
Thank you. Any questions for Josh regarding the staff handbook?
No.
Nope.
Can I have a motion to approve?
I'll move.
I'll motion.
That was Gershom and
Javier.
Javier. Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? The vote was unanimous, all members voting in favor of the student handbook revisions. On to 6D.
So 6D is discussing our California minimum requirements, specifically our alternative diploma policy. And so occasionally there are situations that arise in which students cannot meet the SEBA high school diploma requirements, which are the A to G requirements for the University of California and California State University system. And so what this policy does is it outlines how a student can choose to pursue a certificate of completion or a minimum proficiency diploma. And so to be more specific, if a student is going to pursue a certificate of completion, the student must have a moderate to severe disability documented in a 504 IEP. The student must be experiencing extenuating circumstances such as severe health issues, and then STAR and CAF scores must be greater than 4 years below grade level for longer than 3 years. To pursue the California minimum or proficiency diploma, students must also have a documented disability in a 504 and IEP, a documented challenging life circumstance that could be health, homelessness, or family crisis. And then, so that kind of outlines why students would qualify for one of these two alternative diplomas. And then the decision for a student to pursue this would be made by a team that would be composed of the student themselves, their parent or guardian, their general ed teacher, a resource teacher if applicable, school counselor, and school administrator. The basic idea is we want to encourage all of our students to keep all of their options open. And so we want to push as many students to pursue that A to G SEBA diploma as possible. And then we want to be really specific how a student can pursue one of these alternatives should the need arise.
Any questions for Josh regarding this new policy? Hearing none, do I have a motion? Gershom, were you going to say something?
Well, just out of curiosity, what was happening before we implemented this? They would just not get a diploma?
No, they would. It was just unclear. So when COVID started, if students wanted to pursue a California minimum proficiency diploma, they had a right to do so. That was the obligation of all LEAs.
Okay.
And then prior to that, it was unclear exactly how some students would qualify and some students wouldn't. So you'd say, oh, I'm really struggling. Maybe I failed a lot of my courses. I want to go to the Cal Min. And so that might be appropriate, but we want to just make a clear factor or guidelines as to who does and does not qualify to pursue this route.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you, Mary. Larry, did I see you raise your hand a second?
Yes.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? It was a unanimous vote. All members voted in favor of the minimum course requirement policy. All righty. And we did that with 4 minutes to spare on Mary's timeline.
Yeehaw.
All right.
I'll stay
So
on
we
for 4 minutes.
Good. Well, that'll give you a taste of the head of school report. Josh, take her away.
Okay. So I want to share with you our summer credit recovery update, MTSS conference, our new teacher orientation, our sixth grade orientation, our family orientation, and then our Save It traffic plan. So summer credit recovery. We had 103 students attempt credit. And for that, of those 103 students, 9 received A's in their credit recovery, 24 received B's, 44 received C's for a total of 77.
Mhm.
13 received F's, and then 13 students ended up not attending. So we had 77 out of 103 complete credit recovery. So we're proud of that number. Obviously, we want to do something to improve these students, these outcomes for the students who either failed or did not attend. And so we're looking at different ways to just encourage engagement and make sure that students feel like they can still have a path to graduate from high school. So we ran 2 sessions this summer. Students could complete up to 2 courses over the course of the summer, 2 semester courses. And we had all the courses done through Adminum courseware. And then we had live teacher supports in each classroom, and the students were divided into various classes, algebra, history, what have you. So that is an update about our summer credit recovery.
Does that take place on site or online?
Great question. So the courseware through Adminum is online, but students need to come on site to complete it. So they would come to school,
Oh,
sit in a classroom by their subject. There would be a teacher or a support staff member in there to kind of guide them if they got stuck on the assignments or exams. But then they also have an online teacher, and the assignments are completed and graded online. So it's kind of a hybrid, I would say.
Okay, thank you.
We had 8 staff attended a MTSS conference in Anaheim this summer. And it was all about multi-tiered system of supports. It was 3 days. It was a wonderful time to kind of bond and learn more about the different systems that are available. We discussed or learned about relationship building strategies, identifying and implementing supports for students in different tiers, using data to kind of make more informed decisions about how to best support our students, and also how to track students and making sure that nobody falls through the cracks. And then finally, building and maintaining a safe and supportive student culture. So I think highlight for me at that conference was just how important it is to really just make sure everybody feels welcome when they're at school, and then everyone feels like they have a place at school. So we already know that, but it was just kind of, and then they kind of gave you some specific strategies to make sure that that's going on at your particular site.
Josh, I want to step in real quick. I got a notification from Zoom that I now have 7 minutes left.
Mhm.
Somehow my Zoom was downgraded to a basic. So we have 7 minutes left. If we go past that, I have a new Zoom link in the Zoom chat right now. So
All right.
in case we get
I think I can do this.
Okay, I'm gonna take off. Take care, you guys.
See you,
Bye.
Mary.
See you soon.
Bye.
All right. We had new teacher PD on Monday, July 25th through Wednesday, July 27th. 10 teachers, out of the total of 30 SAVA teachers were onboarded. We went over safety procedures, SAVA systems, instructional materials, and classroom routines and procedures over the course of those 3 days. A lot of it they revisited with the whole staff, but it was kind of nice to give them some additional time to kind of get acquainted to all of our new systems. It's been a really positive start to the new school year, I'd have to say. It's been a positive energy, really very different than the previous year. So we've been really pleased with that, and we're really happy to have these 10 new teachers with us this year.
So Josh, of the 10 new teachers, how many of them are first-year teachers?
Ooh, I don't want to, do you know off the top of your head, Rachel?
No, but I can definitely look.
All right.
Any other questions, Holly?
I want to say it's 5. Can you look that up? And I'm
No,
going
it's
to,
only 3.
oh, 3. Okay.
Yeah.
3 of the 10 are new teachers.
Okay, cool.
this year.
All right.
So there's a question from Miss Leonor asking why teachers are leaving each year. I know we got the staffing report that gave the reasons, but maybe you could just review that briefly for Miss Leonor.
I think, it's like we do exit surveys and it's for a variety of reasons. Sometimes they want to pursue other opportunities. Sometimes they are burnt out from the profession. Sometimes they're frustrated with the particular situation at SEBA. So it kind of spans the gamut.
But I also think it's important to point out that this kind of, or this percentage of people leaving is consistent with national trends. I mean, this is happening in every school in the country.
Yeah. So, and this was pre-COVID. I know pre-COVID, non-Title I schools had about a 10 to 12% turnover rate. And then Title I schools were at a 30 to 33, about a third of their staff turned over annually. And so, yeah, unfortunately, we'd love to see this slower at 10%, but it also reflects what, national averages were even pre-COVID. Okay, any other questions about that?
Nope.
So then we had SEBA 6th grade orientation on Monday and Tuesday, July 25th and 26th. We onboarded 90 new SEBA 6th graders. So it's a larger 6th grade class. It always varies by how big the graduating class is. But they went over the building. They did a scavenger hunt throughout the building, learned about their Chromebooks. They did a lot of relationship building activities with both the staff and the students themselves. And then they just talked about adjusting to middle school life. So it was a lot of fun to have them on campus for those 2 days. And they are integrating well to SEBA. They've had a lot of positive energy. They were definitely the most positive group during the family orientation, which leads me to a family orientation. We had new families on the 25th, and then split them up by last name, A through G on the 26th, H through N on the 27th, and O through Z on the 28th. 500 students, approximately 400 families. There we went over the school rules, lunches, traffic flow, attendance, uniforms, and extracurricular highlights. We changed it up this year. It was always kind of a little bit dry in previous years. So we did videos to kind of highlight what's appropriate at school. And we had the SEBA mascot that you see on the screen here kind of show some non-SEBA values. In this particular one, he's pulling out electronics that are not allowed at school. And then a SEBA student would correct him to show the appropriate school rules. So the families, I thought, were more engaged with that than in previous family orientations. Next up, we've really been emphasizing traffic since the beginning of the school year and reducing that on Locust. We talked about that with the stipend, and then we're also talking about how students get to school. So this looks like a really busy screen here. But what we see here is the purple is where students can walk, and we want them to cross on 2nd Street or on Riverside. We don't want them crossing in the middle of Locust Street. And so we've been really firm on enforcing that, and traffic's gone much better this year. Some of the frustrations that came out at the Planning Commission meeting were that Locust Street can feel really crowded, and we've really reduced that. We're also making sure that staff and parents are not turning left into or out of the school at drop off and pick up. And so I've been out there each day, and a lot of parents have been commenting that they're really appreciative of this. And I'm hoping that the neighbors are also appreciative and seeing that there's no backup or minimal backup on Locust Street when we compare to maybe previous years. LCAP update before we wrap up here. So we're excited to share out those results, and the plan is to go over our SBAC, attendance, reclass results, discipline, as well as our entire school dashboard at the September board meeting. So it's always funny because we need to approve our previous LCAP in June, but the metrics are always, a little bit slower to come out. They come out in July, August time period. So we're tabulating those now, and the plan is to present those at the next board meeting.
I think you're just approaching our end time.
Okay. So that is my head of school report.